All right, it's time to get ready for our Unit 8 test. And so the first one says varies inversely. That's where we're going to do the x1, y1 is equal to x2, y2. And so we'll multiply the first two, 2 times 8 is equal to, we'll multiply the second two, 5 times x, and then we'll just solve for x. And so divide by 5 on both sides, and x equals 16 over 5. You can leave it as that fraction, just like that. Number 2, same thing. And so we'll multiply the first two, 3 times 2. Is equal to, multiply the second two, 8 times y. We'll divide by 8, so y equals 6 over 8, which will simplify to be 3 over 4. This one says it varies inversely, so it's going to be the same thing, even though it's a word problem. The volume is 450 when the pressure is 30. Find the pressure when the volume is 750. So we'll do the same process, 450 times 30. And we'll set equal to 750 times x. That's going to be our pressure. And so I'm going to go into my calculator, and we'll divide by 750, and we'll do 450 times 30, and we'll divide by the 750 to get 18. So x equals 18, and that's pressure, which is pound per inch squared. And this one takes Mario 5 hours to complete the task, Luigi 3 hours to complete the task. The same task, how long will it take to complete the same task if they work together? So you have 1 over 5, that's Mario, plus 1 over 3, that's Luigi, is equal to 1 over x. We'll find that total time. So I need all of these to have the same denominator, so I'm going to multiply this one by 3x to make it 15x. We'll multiply this one by 5x to make that one 15x. And this one already has the x, this just needs the 15. And so we're gonna have 3x plus 5x is equal to 15. We'll add these together to get 8x is equal to 15, and then we'll divide by 8. So x equals 15 over 8 hours, which would be just under 2 hours if you were to figure that one out. And then Chandler can mow his yard in 4 hours. When Monica helps, it takes them 3 hours together. How long will it take Monica to mow by herself? And so we're gonna have Chandler, of Monica, we don't know, and together they take 3. And so in this one, 4 and 3 both go up to 12, so I'm going to multiply by 3x, multiply by 12, and multiply by 4x. And so we get 3x plus 12 is equal to 4x. And then we'll subtract the 3x over to get 12 equals x. And that's hours. An amusement park offers this discount. And so the equation is this, where C of x represents the cost per person as a function of the number of people in the family. If each person in the family paid $17.50, so that's the cost per person. So we're going to plug that into the C of x, plug in what we know to solve for what we don't. So we don't know how many people were in the family. And so we're going to solve for x. We'll subtract the 7.5 over to get 10 equals 120 over x. Since 120 is divided by x, you could, if you wanted to, put a 1 under the 10 as a proportion, but we'll multiply both sides by x to get the x out from the bottom. So we get 10x equals 120, and then we'll divide by 10 to get x equals 12 people. All right, finding the VA and the HA from this graph, and so we'll just draw where it's approaching but not touching. So this one's getting close to here but not touching, and it's getting close to here but not touching. I'll go ahead and do the same thing on number 8 as well. It's getting close to here, and it's getting close to here. And so on this one, my x is equal to 3 for the vertical. My horizontal is -2, y equals -2. On this one, my x is equal to -5, and my y is equal to 1. All right, on this one, we'll do the HA first, and so my degree on top is 1, my degree on bottom is also 1. When they're equal, we look at the leading coefficients. So my A is 6, my B is 1, and so y equals 6. Nothing cancels out or factors, and so there's no holes. X equals 4 is my VA, and my domain is all real numbers, but x cannot be 4. On this one, my degree on top is 0, my degree on bottom is 1, and so 0 is less than 1. When that happens, we get y equals 0. There are no holes because nothing cancels out. X equals 0, and all real numbers, but x cannot be 0. On the next one, my degree on top is 2, my degree on bottom is 1, 2 is greater than 1. And so when this happens, we're gonna have a slant asymptote, so we're not gonna have a horizontal. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the slant asymptote down here. And we're gonna put -3 in the box, and we'll do the division. So we have 5, 0, 1, because we're missing the 0x up here. And then we're gonna drop the 5 down and multiply to get -15. We'll add that together. We'll multiply to get 45, and so 46 is my remainder, but I don't necessarily need that. My slant asymptote is 5x minus 15. Y equals 5x minus 15. That can't factor, nothing cancels, no holes. X equals -3. All real numbers, x cannot be -3. On this one, my degree on top is 2, my degree on bottom is also 2, and so we're gonna have a over b, the leading coefficients. So 1 over 2, y equals 1/2. As far as factoring goes, we're gonna have x plus 2 and x minus 2 on top. On bottom, we're gonna think what multiplies a -12, because that's my a times my c. What adds to 1, so it's before and -3. We're gonna divide by 2, and so we've got x plus 2 and 2x minus 3. On this one, the x plus 2's cancel out, so we're gonna have a hole where x is -2. For my VA, we'll set the remainder equal to 0, the remaining denominator, and so we'll add the 3 over and divide by 2, and so 3 over 2. So my all real numbers, but x can't be 3/2, but it also can't be -2. And then to find the y value of the whole, we'll plug in that -2 into the x of what's remaining. And so we're gonna have -2 minus 2 over 2 times -2 minus 3. So that's gonna be -4 over, that's gonna be -4 minus 3 is -7, so 4 over 7. All right, number 13, we'll do the same process. My degree on top is, 1. My degree on bottom is 2. 1 is less than 2, which means that my HA is gonna be y equals 0. On this one, we're gonna have x minus 1 over, we'll factor x plus 1, x minus 1. And so the x minus 1s are gonna cancel out, leaving a hole at 1. And then we'll plug it in to see what the y value is. So 1 over 1 plus 1, which is 1/2. So we're gonna have a hole at 1/2. So we'll put a little hole right there. And then for my VA, the remaining part I'll set equal to 0. So that's gonna be x equals -1. So that's my vertical asymptote. And then my domain is all real numbers, but x cannot be plus or minus 1. As far as the graphing goes, I'm gonna go ahead and utilize my calculator. And so on top, we're gonna have x minus 1. On bottom, we already have x squared minus 1. And so I'm gonna go ahead and graph it. That's what it should look like. But to make my graph accurate, I'm gonna use my table. And so I'll go get a couple points on either side of my asymptote. So on the other side, I'm gonna have -2, -1, -3, -1/2. And it's getting closer and closer. And so and then on the other side, I have 0, 1. I already had the 1, 1/2, and 2, 1/3. And for the next one, my degree on top is 1, on bottom is also 1. They're equal, so y equals 2. Is 2 over 1, so y equals 2. And then nothing cancels out, so no holes. X equals -3. And then my domain is all real numbers, but x cannot be -3. And then again, I'll go into my calculator, and I'll change the top to be 2x minus 1, change the bottom to be x plus 3. And so there's what the graph should look like. And then to make it accurate, I'm just gonna go again into my table and get a couple points on either side of the error, of the asymptote. And so I've got -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. -5, 11 over 2. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. So I'm gonna go -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. And 13 over 3. 3 goes into 13 4 times, so just a little bit over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1/3. And then -2, -5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1, -3/2. and then 0, negative 1/3. And again, my degree on top and bottom, sorry, on top is 1, they're equal, and so again, we're gonna have y equals negative 2. Look at those leading coefficients. X equals negative 2, no holes, all real numbers. X cannot be negative 2. And then again, we'll go into our calculator. And so negative 2x, x plus 2. So there's what the graph should look like. And we'll just make it accurate by choosing some points on either side of the asymptote. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 10 over 3. So that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and a third. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the same thing on the other side, negative 1, 1, 2, 0, 0, and 1, negative 2/3. All right, listen to the transformation. The negative is going to reflect over the x-axis. We're going to go left 2, so that's my vertical asymptote. And then up 3, that's my horizontal asymptote. And then again, we can go into the calculator. You could do this without the calculator based on our rules that we did a while ago, because this one doesn't have an X on top and bottom, it just has it on bottom. But there's what it will look like. And again, we can get some points on either side of the error. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 5 is going to be 10/3, and so 2, 3, and a third. Oops, sorry. 1. Negative 4, that should have been 3.5. Let's see. So up a little bit, but there we go. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Negative 1, 1, 2, 0, 5 halves. And that's going to get closer to the asymptote. All right, just list all the transformations. Negative in the front is going to reflect over the x-axis. 3 is going to be a vertical stretch by 3. X minus 1 is going to go right 1, and then plus 2 is going to go up 2. Again, list all the transformations. X plus 4 is going to go left 4. Minus 1 is going to go down 1. All right, and then the last page has a lot of factoring and simplifying, and so we're going to have to factor everything. I'm going to go ahead and start factoring over here, and then I'll put my factors over here on this line once I'm done. And so this first one, we're going to take out 2x squared and left with x plus 1. Over here, we'll take out a 3. We're left with x plus 1. And so x plus 1s are going to come together with the factor by grouping. 2x squared plus 3 will come together as well. Over here, we're going to think what multiplies a negative 15 and adds to 2. It's going to be 5 and negative 3. X plus 5, x minus 3. That's going to be difference of squares, x plus 3 and x minus 3. And then we can GCF this one. We can take out a 2, and we're left with 2x squared plus 3. That's a 3. That's terrible. All right. And now we'll just look and see what we can cancel out. So I've got 2x squared plus 3, x minus 3. And that looks to be about it. And so on top, we're going to have x plus 1, x plus 5, and on bottom, we're going to have the 2 and the x plus 3. On this one, it's division, so we're going to flip these two. And so the x plus 7 is going to come to the top, x cubed plus 3x squared will go to the bottom, and then we'll factor. So this first one, we can take out a 7x, and we're left with x plus 3. And then we have the x plus 7. And then this one, we're going to think what multiplies a negative 35 and adds to 2. That's going to be 7 and negative 5. And so x plus 7 and x minus 5. And then we can take out an x squared, and we're left with x plus 3. And then we'll cancel out. X plus 3s are gone. X plus 7s are gone. I can take away one of these x's with that x. And so we're left with 7 over x minus 5. And the x as well. Subtractions, we have to have a common denominator, and so multiplies 8 adds to 6, that's going to be x plus 4 and x plus 2. Multiplies a 6 and adds a 5, that's going to be x plus 2 and x plus 3. So both of them already have the x plus 2, but this side needs the x plus 4, and this side needs the x plus 3. And so we're going to distribute this 4x to get 4x squared plus 12x. Over here there's a negative, so I'm going to go ahead and move that to the 3 and distribute that negative 3 to get negative 3x. And negative 12 will combine like terms. 4x squared plus 9x minus 12. We could try to factor this, but nothing's going to multiply to negative 48 and add to 9, and then we'll just drop down our common denominators, x plus 2, x plus 3, and x plus 4. On the next one, these two have x minus 2. This has the x. And so this one needs x, this needs an x, and this needs x minus 2. So you need the common denominator. Based on the denominators, I know x cannot be 0, and it also cannot be 2 because it's impossible to divide by 0. And so then we'll distribute this 6 to get 6x minus 12. This is a subtraction, so minus 5x is equal to x squared minus 7x. And then we're going to keep going with this. 6x minus 5x, that's going to be x minus 12 is equal to x squared minus 7x. Since I have an x squared, I want to get everything to one side. And so I'm going to subtract the x over, and I'm going to add the 12 over. And so I get 0 equals x squared minus 8x plus 12. And then we'll do our x method factoring. What multiplies a 12 and adds a negative 8? That's going to be negative 6 and negative 2. And so 0 equals x minus 6 and x minus 2. And so x equals 6, x equals 2, but x can't be 2 from earlier, so x just equals 6. On this one, 3, 4x, and x, I want my LCD to be 12x. So we're going to multiply this one by 4x. This one just needs a 3, and this one needs a 12. X cannot be 0. And so that's going to be 4x, and then we've got a subtraction right here, so I'm going to change the signs as I distribute the 3. So it's going to be negative 3x, and then that's going to be a positive 18 is equal to 24. And then that's going to be x plus 18 equals 24. We'll subtract the 18 over, and so x is equal to 6. It doesn't conflict with the 0, and so that's it. And that completes our review. If you have any questions, definitely let me know.